Now it's just a full-blown communist takeover in South Africa. No one here is talking about it.
It's a fact, and if people are too squeamish to understand this, well then, you'll be helpless when it happens to you.
You tell me something about your wife.
She went to the post office at the wrong time. The next thing she knew, she had a gun to the back of her head. The next thing she knew, she was in the trunk of her own car. Orchestrated by the usual suspects of Soros, Oppenheimer.
And they're orchestrating the movement of World War III.
It's what's planned for this country. It is step by step, inch by inch, exactly according to the playbook.
What does China have to do with this? On our last segment, we talked about how the puppeteers are orchestrating basically our lives. And they're orchestrating the movement of World War III, which John says, and I agree, is going to be a spiritual war. Okay? Now, let's go a little bit deeper. We're going to talk about what the deep state may be doing, and are they or are they not doing in South Africa that eventually will ignite this master fire that's going to take place worldwide. John, what say you, South Africa?
Just this week, they are changing the Constitution. This is the African National Congress,
Okay.
which is nothing but the Communist Party in blackface, okay?
Yeah.
They have changed now the Constitution to allow the government to seize the land. Now, the government already owns 60% of the land. Do you think they're producing any food on it? No.
No.
There are black Africans complaining that they were given the land, but they didn't provide anything else. The cattle have starved to death. The whole place has gone to seed. This is what they do. Now, people say, oh, this is all about freeing those poor, oppressed black people. Do we think that it might have anything to do with the diamond mines or the gold mines or the ferrochrome or the molybdenum or any of the other strategic minerals?
That's right.
Now, not only have they changed the Constitution, because the farm murders are occurring at a ghastly rate. And David, it's one thing to shoot somebody, it's another thing to stab somebody. I will not tell you on your program what is done to the human body, but I will tell you this. To prepare the woman for her agonizing death, they bend her legs backward to where the bottoms of her feet are back here, behind her. It's called splaying.
They bend them backwards? Backwards.
Yeah.
Okay.
Imagine your thigh being bent up against your back to where the bottoms of your feet are now up here over your shoulder.
Right.
That's what they do to the women. And they disembowel them while they're gang raping them. Now, that's going to be pretty strong for some, but it's a fact. And if people are too squeamish to understand this, well, then you'll be helpless when it happens to you, because what is happening in South Africa, I'm too old to make these things up. I've been around the world too many times, been around the block too many times. There's nothing in it for me to make this
Nor do you have a
up.
reason to, John.
There's no reason to.
There's nothing in it for you.
It's what's planned for this country. It is step by step, inch by inch, exactly according to the playbook. And the second thing I was going to tell you about is that now the Chinese Communist Party is going to establish an education school in Tanzania and will be advising their comrades in the new government.
That's exactly what I was going to bring up. What does China have to do with this? I'm smelling China, and you just answered it.
Well, the Chinese are all over. They are all over Zimbabwe.
Okay, so the Chinese are all over it, but yet you have what I'm going to call the deep state, the guys, the puppeteers, the guys you mentioned. Are they married together? They in the same bed together?
Absolutely. Wherever there is money, think of what happened when the Soviet Union collapsed. If you are in deprivation, if you are deprived of everything, you can become a wealthy oligarch if you sell enough toilet paper.
Wow.
It doesn't matter how you make the money. See, for most people, they think that money is going to be made through some flash job, like you got to be a rock star, or you got to be a pop star, or you got to be a football player, or you got to own some media corporation, or be in the movies, or something like that. No, you can sell enough chocolate, enough toilet tissue, enough toothbrushes. They don't care, and that's what made the Russians expert businessmen. They found out a way to make money off of anything and everything that is commonly used by everybody.
You told me something about your wife, and it's a horrible thing that happened to her in South Africa. Would you share that with the audience of what she went through?
Yeah, but I'll be brief. She went to the post office at the wrong time. The next thing she knew, she had a gun to the back of her head. The next thing she knew, she was in the trunk of her own car. And of course, she could hear them discussing how they were going to kill her after they drained her bank account, which they did. And so they took her and abused her quite badly and stabbed her between her hip bones in succession 13 times. And dumped her.
Now, this was in South Africa.
Mm-hmm.
Was this before you met her?
Oh yes, this was 2007.
7. Why did they do this?
Because that's what they do.
Okay.
If they don't do it to white people, they do it to each other.
Okay, so these are the blacks in South Africa. I want to be detailed because a lot of people are like me. They're just learning this. The blacks in South Africa either go after the other blacks in South Africa or they go after the whites.
That's what apartheid was all about. It was not about separating white from black. It was about separating black from black. For example, there's a piece of video footage where you will see a black cop just shooting because he's had to go into a township with other cops to quell the violence, which happens all the time. Well, it's fine now, but when it was the white cops doing it, racism. Well, now the black cops are having to do it. There are black cops getting killed too.
Okay, so what's going on in South Africa right now as we speak that the media is not covering?
A full-blown communist takeover. A full-blown communist takeover orchestrated by the usual suspects of Soros, Oppenheimer. Who's the other one? Rupert. And Rothschild.
Wow. No wonder the mainstream media won't cover this here.
No, they won't.
They won't cover it here. And you mentioned that it makes money. The media wants to talk about things that people are loving, tickling their ears. But there's another part of it. They won't speak about things that the puppeteers, the guys you mentioned, tell them not to.
You are correct.
Wow. Folks, we're talking to John B. Wells. You're on davidheavener.tv, Last Evangelist channel. When we come back, I'm going to ask John how China is married to what we would call the deep state, the puppeteers. I'm also going to ask you, John, about President Trump and how all that is married together when we come back.